academic exercise. So go for it.
Thanks very much, Kim. I'm Vic Derman. I'm a Saanich Councillor, CRD Director, and I'm Vice Chair of the Water Commission. Because I didn't know that many people read the RCMP section of the paper. Anyhow, you know, some fabulous stuff this morning. I think a lot of really good speakers and ideas. Just a couple of comments on what was said this morning. First of all, it's very likely that we will never use the Leach River. Leach River, I voted for the Leach River, but not because we're going to use the water. I just thought it was fabulous to get that piece of land in the public domain. Because on the Leach River, we don't have the right to use it year long. We have a water license that essentially allows us to use it during the wet season, when our water use is less and we're filling the pool. Presently, the reservoir, right now, we get a full pool about 85% of the time, roughly. Well, what are the predictions for climate change in this area? Increased rain in the winter, which means we're going to have full pool probably closer to 100% of the time, and much longer, hotter, drier summers, when we can't use the leach. You know, so functionally, the value of the leach as an adjunct, all it does is say we can absolutely guarantee you're going to get a full pool in the reservoir 100% of the time. That's all it does. But to get that public asset for the future for $60 million, incredible value. There you are. Now the other one, great talk by Oliver. He at one point thought that the conventional wisdom was that CRD water, you know, the price is an important determiner of water use. I couldn't agree more. But he spouted the conventional wisdom that CRD water can't control the price because it's the municipalities that retail it. Well, not quite. I've been waiting for the right time to spring this one, and it won't be until after the election. But of course,
should I turn the camera off?
Of course we can control the price. We're the wholesalers. You know, we got one or two little retail outlets, but primarily we're the wholesalers of water. It'd be very easy to us to go to the municipalities and say, look, we know how many houses you got. We got all the other data on you. We're going to give you yay much water for reasonable use in all the outlets you have at such and such a price. And as soon as you go above that volume, we're going to charge you that much more. Plain and simple. And then it comes to me with my other hat, and I've got to sit and say, am I going to make all of my voters pay for the people that are using way more water than they should, or am I going to have a differential system of pricing? Well, probably I'm going to say, I'm going to put a differential system of pricing. And so functionally we do have control of that price. And it's something that in calmer times I'm going to try to see if I can get us to move to. On to the natural city. The world according to Vic Derman. No, not really, and not intended to be. The natural city is a compilation of a whole pile of ideas that I've learned from a lot of very bright and articulate and visionary people over a period of time. I hope there's a few ideas of my own in it, and one of the things it maybe does is put it together into a comprehensive kind of 30 or 40,000 foot view, perhaps a little bit more than has been done before. I hope so. Please feel free to contribute to it. First of all, I beg you, put it out there as widely as you can. You know, it's meant to stimulate thought and ideas. And so if you have an email list and if you don't have the electronic version, just send me an email, Vic Derman, VICDERMAN, all lowercase, all one word, at shot.ca, and I'll send you the electronic version. And if you don't mind sending it around to people, gee, I'd be delighted. Sarah already said, when I offered one this morning, geez, I already got 3 or 4 of those. You know, I got them by email. Oh, good. Great. And it's fairly small, so it won't clog up your emails. Also, you know, it's a starting point. It's both too long and too short. When I typed it up, and my wife is my editor in terms of reviewing, and she said, she read through most of it, she said, "Are you crazy?" And my answer was, you know, I thought we established that a long time ago. But she said, "This is too long, people won't read it." And she's right in some cases. And it needs to have an executive summary in front of it. And the other thing is, I think all of you guys know that to properly describe the kind of paradigm shift that we should be trying to accomplish really takes more than 6 pages. And so in the long term, I would like to create an appendix on transportation and land use, appendix on issues of water and how they fit into the picture, an appendix on how we should be approaching social equity, you know, and just a whole pile of things that help us to start to flesh out the details that aren't there now. So I'd love it if you have ideas. If you look and say, "Geez, you know, why do you leave that out?" Let me know.
One idea for you. If it was a website, it would
will
really
be.
Okay, great.
It will be. Yeah, interactive.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. But I really appreciate it. Yeah, exactly right. So I don't think I know what I need to say to this group. There is an obvious need to change, and to change dramatically for a whole pile of reasons. And we've known that for a long period of time now, but it's hitting us over the head much more frequently and much harder than it used to. I'll just use one little example. In this region, we have fairly robust modeling software, model primarily traffic, but you know, you can test land use scenarios and see what are the consequences and so on and so forth. Our own modeling software in the CRD tells us that if we don't change the way we move around this region substantially, that within 15 to 20 years, we face a 300% increase in congestion. 300%. I mean, just in the last 10 years. I mean, most of you go out here, leave this place at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and go sailing down Mackenzie. You don't sail very far, very fast if you're in a car. I love it when I'm on a bike then, you know, thumb on the nose as you're going flying by everybody, whatever it might be. But, you know, it's clearly got a lot more difficult to move around the region. As an elected official, the #1 complaint I get is traffic. I can guarantee 10 or 12 emails a week from enraged citizens to say, "Why aren't you doing something about this?" You know, I go to, it takes me, you know, I know, it's bad. Think of 3 times as bad. It's not viable. It cannot be allowed to happen. Plain and simple. There's no other choice. I mean, you can talk all you want about electric cars or hydrogen-powered cars or whatever it might be, but if they're sitting still, they're sitting still. And it doesn't make a heck of a lot of difference to your mobility whether they're sitting still hydrogen-wise, electric-wise, or gasoline-wise. They're sitting there. And we are well on our way to creating, like any other places, you know, a very large parking lot, unintentionally. So we do need to change. So what the Natural City tries to do is to say, where do we want to go? You know, what are the compelling reasons for change? What should it look like? What should it become? And then finally, how do you get there? Well, we have a local document called the Regional Growth Strategy. Been in place for 5 years now, and certainly been in the mix. It was a very difficult birth, the Regional Growth Strategy. I think we went into labor for about 5 years, or something of that nature. But it's been around. And unfortunately, and it's, by the way, it's really quite a good document in terms of statement of local sustainability. And if you look at it and read it, it is. It's got a lot of good stuff in it. Unfortunately, it hasn't had the impact on what we do nearly as much as it should. And you look and say, well, why? Well, partly because it was never, ever a document of the general public, of the citizenry.